Hey guys, so this video is going to be about a little repair work on the 2-in-1 LeapTop Touch from LeapFrog. Basically what happened was we were on a road trip and the last little bit of it, my daughter's tablet stopped working. So my husband and I thought it was just a battery issue and we would deal with that when we got home. So earlier today I took the batteries out, swapped them out, nothing worked. The switch didn't work, the screen didn't come on, and there wasn't any music. So I looked on the LeapFrog website as well as YouTube and Google, which are my usual go-tos, to see if there's any repair video like this one that I'm making, but there weren't. And the LeapFrog website said that if there was anything wrong with the on and off switch, this switch down here, or the screen itself, that the whole tablet would have to be replaced. So I figured that since that was my only option, that I would just fiddle with it myself and see what I could come up with. So basically, I'm going to show you guys how to take this apart. I've already fixed it, but I'll show you what I did. And it's it's fairly simple. So there are two holes here, and you remove those screws. Then you close the tablet to make it easy on yourself, and there are 1, 2, 3 more screws that you remove, and that will give you access to this part. So, if this is your first time taking this apart, definitely keep in mind where everything is, how it is already set up, how it's already connected, so that you don't have any trouble when you're putting it back together. So basically here, there is, which it's not connected because I was just trying to mess with it. So there is a little metal post here. I think you might be able to see that. There's a little post here that fits into this end. And I'll show you how it goes back together once we're there. So for now, I'm just going to take this apart so that we can work on it. And that sits in there. Just a sec, guys, sorry. Oh, I get it. All right, that didn't happen to me before, but now I know. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. And from here, what you're going to do, you're going to need to get into the screen section. So this part, I do need to take the screws out again because I was having a video issue my first time with this camera, so bear with me. So I looked at it and I did try and pry it apart where you can see in a few spots, and it dawned on me that there would be screws holding it together. But as you can see on the back, there are no screws. So if you peel up the 4 corners, which I'm gonna demonstrate now, you peel up the 4 corners and that gives you access to these screws. That's not the screwdriver I was using. And you take these out. That's such a smooth video here, isn't it, guys? So pop these screws out, and you definitely want to keep all the screws separate. I mean, it's fairly simple to tell the size difference between the ones in this screen versus the ones for the lighter pink area. So you're going to pry up the edges, the remaining 3, and you can fast forward this part. This is just pull it up, take the screw out, set it to the side. And I'm trying not to tamper with these too much, trying not to fold them back too much, just so that, they go back where they are. But you could use super glue and, or whatever you have to put that back if there is a big issue, if they are pulled up enough. So I'm going to pull up this corner and get the third screw. So one more. which it may help to go from your last corner and pry it up, which is what I've done. Last screw, put that to the side. So from here, oops, the backing already comes out. So you have the backing, you pull that off, and again, removing any backing, you want to make sure what you're dealing with inside and that it goes back to where it should be. So you have this plastic piece here that does fit into a slot on the side, and that just guides the wires. So you can just put that right down there, that's fine. There's this piece here that fits in to help the hinge when you open and close the screen. So you can just pop that one right out, set that to the side as well. So what I found when I opened this up originally was that this wire here, this little red one, I'm going to try and zoom in for you guys in just a second. Let's see. So this little thin red one here is part 2 of the wires that are needed for powering the tablet. So I don't think you'll be able to see it, but if you open yours, you'll definitely see it. It says, there's a plus sign for the positive end and a negative for the black wire, the negative end of the battery. So when I opened this up originally, this red wire was no longer connected. And that was my first clue what was wrong with the tablet. So I held it down with my thumb and I turned the switch on, and sure enough, it started working just as it had before. So what I would honestly recommend, since my dad is an electrician and he told me the right way and the wrong way to do things, but so I would definitely recommend using a solder gun. And since I don't have one and I thought I would just wing it for the time being, I did use some super glue, which it is a Loctite brand. I think you guys can see that possibly. Let me see, let me close it up since it was just open apparently. Sorry, bear with me. Like I said, this is a new camera, but this is a Loctite super glue, and it's actually a gel, and I like this one because you squeeze the sides to allow only a certain amount out instead of squeezing really hard on those other tubes. But yeah, so I would definitely buy this again. This is a super cool brand. I use it for some of my crafts as well. But so I did apply some super glue over the top of the wires so that the connection wasn't interrupted with the glue itself. I kind of just put a helmet on it, I guess you could call it. So I waited for that to dry, and basically I was pleasantly surprised when I turned on the screen. Hi, I'm Scout. And there's Scout. So just to show you that the screen works and everything. Let's see. So the touch screen still works. The sound works. Where's that one? There we go. Turtle. And then it still switches in between games. Numbers. Will you brush me? Let's play some music. So it works. I'm beyond thrilled that I didn't have to replace it, and also a little bit thrilled that I didn't have to get a soldering gun for now. This may just be a temporary fix if that does come loose again, but I don't think it should, because these wires, I did pull a little bit more, I gave it more slack than it had, and I think that might have been the issue, since there's no way for her to be able to pull at the wires when she's using it. So I think it was just that there wasn't enough slack. It just pulled loose. But yeah, so basically from here you just put it back together, and you want to make sure that the wires have enough wiggle room so they aren't too tight. You pull this plastic sleeve back over, and you just pop it into its little home over here off to the side, which it'll hopefully just snap right in if it wants to cooperate. You got to make sure it gets on the right side. There are two small tabs just as like little stoppers so it doesn't go in too far. So yeah. So I'm going to give some slack in there. Pop that back in and you hold it because it does have the tendency with these wires to pop itself back out. And you go ahead and you get this other piece over here and you just, it doesn't matter which end or which, you know, which side you put that in on really. So you put that back in and you get the backing. And since I'm a little OCD, I'm just making sure that that it is on the right way. And then from here, you just flip it on over and you pull these corners up again. Hopefully it's a little easier. Just trying to get my nail underneath. So you're gonna put those same 4 screws right back in. Almost there. There's one, and it sits back flush. And then, come on. I think I'll have to do this side first. There we go. So like I said, you kind of peel it over. There you go. And you can fast forward through this part if you guys like. I mean, I'm literally just putting in 4 screws. And, you know, not that exciting. So put that one back down. Almost there. 2 more to go. And I really hope that this video helps somebody, because as parents, you know, we buy enough toys, and if we can save one, not have to, you know, replace it, that would be great. And, you know, like I said, I did go to the LeapFrog website and I was trying to find contact information. And it does take you to a list of their products, which you have to click on. And I did not see this in their list. So it basically just, I was at a wall and I wasn't able to go any further into their contact them about this. So, you know, took it upon myself. Okay, so as you can see, there's this metal post on this side and then the plastic with the wires coming out. So basically, if you have the backing on correctly, and this is, I'll show you which angle works. Oops. So basically, this is when you first close it. And you're, oops. Okay. So you want to make sure that, sorry, I have not done this part. I just don't want to snap any plastic pieces in here. That wouldn't be good. That I can't replace by myself. So sometimes, apparently, this plastic tube holding the wires kind of gets in the way. So you want to keep an eye on that, and you just guide it, which I forgot. There is this little area in here, so that all comes off. So there is this little area in here where this plastic sleeve fits into to guide the wires, and so they don't get crimped in the opening and closing. So you can, trying to do this sort of one-handed here. So basically, you just want to make sure that that is closed and that you don't snap off any of these little tabs. I did bend one. I did learn. So you have that. So the tablet is basically in its closed position, and just put the screen down how it goes. And these, so this section, this little plastic fits into this other well down here, and this one sits over here. So kind of just play with the straw, play with the wires, the plastic tubing, I guess. I shouldn't call it a straw. But you play with that so that they aren't getting pinched with any of the closure when you put the backing on here. And I'll zoom out so you can see. And so from here, we're going to go ahead and put this back together, which I put that on backwards. I think. Nope, I'm pretty sure I had that. How did that work? So that needs to go that way, but how does that? So see, this is why you need to pay close attention to how this is set up, because now I'm a little turned around on this part. So I would think it would fit in there like that, but it doesn't. I already know it does. Oh, wait. So let's just go about this the right way. Let's put the ring, just slips right over that. And you're going to need to pick up the side and put it in that little spot there. So from here, I guess if it comes apart, here we go. That, I guess that's how it was. So you see there's a little area here where that metal tab, this little metal post rather, will fit into. So I recommend putting that in there first and then just pushing this down. So you'll see, there we go. So you'll see that the spring sits completely in this little rectangular area and everything's back together. And the wires are, sorry, the wires are out of the way. They won't get crimped in any of the closures. So from here, you just take this back piece, pop that back down, and yeah, there are two different lengths to these screws. The 3 smaller screws, I mean, it makes sense. You took 3 from the back, 2 from the front. So the 2 in the front are definitely going to be longer. So just keep that in mind to keep them separated. Make it easier on you later on. So I'm just going to place these in here, tighten these down. And again, just tightening screws. Feel free to skip ahead. Super simple. Almost there, guys. And as you tighten it, the sides are going to pop back, snap back into place. And that's the snapping sounds you hear. I'm not breaking anything closing this up, promise. So then it'll open up, and then you just put these 2 back in the front. And I'm sure you'll hear some snapping here too. Maybe not. Okay. And then we're almost there. This one will need some work. There we go. It's kind of hung up. So if it does, if you do notice that it gets, that there's too much of a gap, just try and, you know, open and close it, and that should get it back to where it needs to be. And then you just tighten the screw and you are good to go. So from here, here we go.
Hi, I'm Scout.
And it still works. You have laptop mode.
Let's play some music.
So I really hope. Good night. I really hope this helped you guys. I know, you know, I'm happy, more than pleased that I got this to where it needs to be back and functioning, since we do have another road trip coming up. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment below. Sorry for the quality if it's a little too fuzzy. This is, again, my first time